Greetings, Buffs fans. Welcome to another episode of Buffzone TV. My name's Ryan Throburn. I cover CU men's basketball for the Boulder Camera. To my right is Neill Woelk, famous columnist from the Boulder Camera. We're going to talk men's basketball ahead of CU's road trips to Oklahoma State and Texas A&M this week.
Okay, Ryan, stop me if you've heard this one before, but the Buffs need a road win. Is this correct?
The Buffs have lost 30 consecutive Big 12 road games dating back to 2006. In January of that year, they beat Oklahoma State, ironically enough, in Stillwater in overtime. Since that point, 0 for 30. I would say they definitely need one. They've had some close calls during my reign covering the team in the Jeff Buzdelic era, a 1-point loss at Oklahoma State 2 years ago, but they need to get one this year, maybe two.
Is this a week? I think this is a week that they have a chance. I mean, there's no easy time in the Big 12. There's not going to be an easy road trip. But I do think Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, they've both been getting votes for the top 25. But I think those are both teams that aren't going to be perfect at home. I think that there's a chance for Colorado to go down there and pick up a win. Either place, they start off with Oklahoma State, but I think both of those places offer at least the opportunity for Colorado to get a win if they play the way they have the last couple of games.
There are no easy wins in this conference this year, but after starting the season off against Texas, Baylor, and K-State, 3 of the 4 teams ranked in the top 25 from this conference, I think if they play at the level they played those teams at, they've got more than a puncher's chance to win one of these next 2 games. I kind of like them to have a better chance at College Station. The atmosphere in Stillwater is really incredible. They have some NBA talent type guys. A&M's had some injury problems, and they don't draw the way a lot of teams draw in this league, and they might not get as fired up for CU as they did Texas the other night.
Yeah, you talked about the games they've played already, and the 2 games last week I think are worth touching on really quickly. They beat number 22 Baylor. They lost to number 13 Kansas State, close game with Kansas State the whole way, but 2 very good crowds, the sellout crowd for the Kansas State game. I think people are getting a little bit excited about Colorado basketball. I think if they would get a road win this week, it would take that up a notch. I think people would have reason to say, okay, they're going to go back and watch them play again. So that's why I think this is another, every week's a big week, obviously, but the way they've been playing, I think Jeff Buzdelic has that team playing very hard, very aggressively, and they're playing smart basketball, and I think that they have a chance to go down there and win one of those games.
I think the fans sense that they've kind of turned the corner this season. They didn't have as many non-conference wins as they wanted to, but they've already beat a ranked opponent. I think it's a sign of respect that Baylor lost to CU and did not drop out of the top 25. They played Kansas State tough, and after the game they basically said, we're the ones that blew this game. We missed free throws. We didn't block out. We did this. We did that. It wasn't about K-State. It was about CU mistakes, and I think that's a good sign. They don't have to play a perfect game to win, but they have to play almost mistake-free, and they had just a few too many the other night against the Wildcats.
I liked what Jeff Buzdelic said after the game, after the loss to Kansas State. Jeff Buzdelic said they expected to win. They didn't go out there thinking they wanted to play a good game and see what happened. They weren't happy with the fact that they came close to the number 13 team in the nation. They came off very disappointed and angry that they let an opportunity slip away. And I think that's a little bit of a growth step for this team. They still need to grow up a little bit more, pressure situations, all those things. But I think this is a team that is maturing on a weekly basis, and I really love to see that from these guys because most of these guys are going to be back a year from now.
Yeah, and Marcus Relford was named the Big 12 co-newcomer of the week with Iowa State's Marcus Gilstrap, who's a really good player. Alec Burks leads all freshmen in the Big 12 in scoring, and he's the only freshman in America that's scored in double figures in every game this season. So you add those 2 pieces to Corey Higgins, and I'm not sure they expect to win on the road at this point, but they expect to have a chance to win in the final minutes, and that's a step in the positive direction.
They're getting scoring from a lot of different places. You just mentioned the 3, Relford, and Relford has really come on in the Big 12 season. I mean, you have to like the way Marcus Relford is playing. He adds an element of toughness to him that really makes him a good team. But Relford can score, Higgins can score, Burks can score. Dwight Thorne has been a nice, a really great role player in the Big 12. He's come on, he's hit some key threes, and I think Nate Tomlinson is playing a lot better than even I expected him to. I looked at Nate's assist to turnover ratio the other day, and he's got a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio, which is far, far better than he had a year ago. So I think a lot of those young players are maturing, fairly quickly, and I'd be interested to see how this team progresses as the Big 12 rolls along.
Yeah, and just two negatives that have happened this season is I was just at practice a few minutes ago, and Shannon Sharp's out there shooting on one leg. They really weren't counting on him going down with a knee injury before the season. I think he can guard some of these Big 12 point guards that have that quickness where Nate struggles with, like Sharon Collins and players like that. I think he has the quickness to at least defend. And the other negative is they don't have any bigs right now. I think Shane Harris-Tunks is going to be a good player when he's an upperclassman, but some of their other guys just haven't developed, and that's the thing that's missing from this team. They add a big guy next year, and they're going to be on the bubble, I think.
I think if they get the big guy that Jeff Bzdelic is recruiting, we all know he's spending every spare moment that he has chasing down a big man. He's looking at some JUCO guys, somebody that can come in and help right away. If he gets one of those players, yeah, they'll be a much better team next year. But even this year, I'd like to see this team win 5 or 6 more Big 12 games. Mm-hmm. Go into the Big 12 tournament with about a 15-15 record, maybe win a game there, and get into some postseason. And I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility the way they're playing right now.
I think the key is not to get down on yourselves. Texas Tech and Nebraska, I believe they came into conference play something like 25-4 combined record. Neither team had lost a home game. Well, those two teams are at the bottom, 0-3 right now, and they don't have easy games coming up. So Pat Knight said today on the conference call, you're going to go through patches where you have bad weeks and 3 or 4 game losing streaks. You just can't get down on yourself because that's the Big 12, and other teams are going to experience it unless your name's Texas or Kansas. So CU needs to realize that the K-State game is over and put together a win on the road out of these next 2.
That would be a big week for them. So we will see.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.